Why did you do that, my daughter?
Juliet always believed she was the finest girl in the whole village. She walked like the road belonged to her, talked like everyone was below her, and behaved like her beauty could buy her a seat in heaven. But one hot afternoon, her life changed because of one thing she never expected: a fart. It started when an old woman stopped her on the road and politely asked for a little money for food. Instead of answering with kindness, Juliet rolled her eyes, hissed loudly, insulted her, and proudly released a long, disrespectful fart right in front of the old woman. She even smiled as if she had done something special. But Juliet didn't know that this single fart would follow her, chase her, embarrass her, and teach her the biggest lesson of her life. Because the old woman she disrespected was no ordinary old woman, and Juliet's pride was about to meet its match. Juliet walked down the road like a queen returning from a fashion show. Her hips were swinging, her handbag was shaking, and her face was full of pride. She believed the whole world was watching her beauty shine under the hot sun. Then she saw the old woman standing by the side of the road, holding her stomach gently like she was hungry. The old woman raised her hand and called softly, "My daughter, please help me with a little money for food." Juliet stopped, looked at her from head to toe, and smirked. She didn't feel pity, she felt annoyance. She moved closer, rolled her eyes, and said, "Old woman, leave my front. I am not your bank." The old woman kept her calm and spoke again. "My child, if you don't have, just say you don't have. It is not good to insult people." Instead of walking away, Juliet stepped right in front of her, lifted her chin proudly, and released a loud, confident fart that echoed down the quiet road. She even opened her eyes wide, like she was proud of the sound. "Take that one," Juliet said proudly. "Since you like asking, take this one as your gift." The old woman sighed, disappointed. She simply shook her head slowly and said, "My daughter, it is not good to do that in public. It is not good to disrespect older people." Juliet hissed, flicked her fingers, and said, "Old woman, that is none of your business. If you don't like it, shift." She turned around and walked away confidently, her shoulder high like nothing happened. But before she could take 10 steps, her stomach twisted sharply. She stopped and held her waist. She thought it was small gas. Nothing serious. She moved again, and immediately a loud fart burst out of her like a drum in a village festival. Juliet froze. "No way," she whispered. She tried to walk faster. Another fart escaped. She squeezed her stomach tight. Another one followed. Every step came with one. She turned around and saw the old woman still standing calmly in the same place. Juliet marched back, angry and confused, pointing at her stomach as if the old woman could see inside it. "You! What did you do to me?" Juliet shouted. "Stop it now." The old woman looked at her with tired but wise eyes and said, "My daughter, you insulted me. You mocked me. You used your body to shame me. Now your body is teaching you the lesson you refused to learn." Juliet shook her head fast. "No, this thing cannot follow me. I am a chief's daughter. Make it stop." Her stomach twisted again, and she bent forward slightly as another loud one escaped. Tears filled Juliet's eyes. She couldn't believe her beauty and pride now meant nothing. She felt embarrassed even though nobody else was there. The old woman spoke gently. "Until you learn respect, your body will remind you. Every time you speak with pride, you will hear the sound. Every time you insult someone, you will feel the pain." Juliet covered her face with her hands. "Please, I will do anything. I don't want this shame. Help me." The old woman nodded slowly. "Then you must change, not with your mouth, but with your heart. Pride made you insult me. Humility will set you free." Juliet looked down, her voice shaking. I will change. Please tell me what to do." The old woman lifted her hand and pointed at Juliet's chest. "You must learn respect, not because you fear shame, but because it is the right thing. Beauty fades, pride destroys, but respect lifts a person higher than money or looks." She paused, looked deeply into Juliet's eyes, and added, "And my daughter, you will suffer a little before you learn your lesson." Before Juliet could speak, before she could even breathe properly, the old woman's body began to fade like smoke. Juliet gasped. She blinked once, twice, and in the next second the old woman was gone. Completely gone. No footsteps, no shadow, No sound, nothing. Juliet stood alone on the road, shaking. Her stomach tightened again, and a loud fart escaped her without warning. She placed her hands on her face and cried loudly. The shame, the fear, the confusion, everything hit her at once. She ran home, crying as she ran, holding her stomach with one hand. When she reached the compound, her father was sitting on a wooden chair outside, resting after a long day. The moment he saw Juliet crying, he stood up sharply. "My beautiful daughter, what happened? Who touched you? Why are you crying like this?" Juliet fell on her knees in front of him, still crying. "Papa, something happened on the road. Papa, the old woman I insulted. She said things. She vanished, Papa, she vanished in front of me." Her father frowned but pulled her up gently. "Calm down, Juliet. You are shaking. Tell me slowly." Juliet wiped her face and explained everything. Her father listened quietly. When Juliet finished, he burst into loud laughter. "Juliet, my princess, you are worrying yourself for nothing. That old woman is making mouth because she is hungry and frustrated. She is not powerful. She is just talking nonsense." Juliet sniffed. "Papa, but she vanished." Her father waved his hand. "You probably closed your eyes because you were crying. Maybe she walked away quickly. My daughter, stop shaking. That old woman cannot do anything to you. Nothing will happen. Forget her." Juliet looked up at her father, hoping he was right, hoping the old woman's words would disappear like she did. But just as she opened her mouth to speak, her stomach twisted sharply and another loud fart escaped her. Juliet covered her face in shame. Her father blinked fast, surprised, then said, "Ah, maybe you just need to rest. Eat something. You will be fine." The next morning, Juliet woke up early, dressed in her finest clothes, and stepped outside with her usual pride. She convinced herself that everything was normal and that yesterday was just a strange dream. So she walked majestically on the road again, raising her shoulders like the whole world was watching her beauty. As she moved, two young men walked past her. They were simple village boys, not rich, not powerful. When they saw Juliet, they smiled politely and greeted her. "Good morning, Juliet," one of them said respectfully. "Yes, good morning," the second added quickly. Instead of answering kindly, Juliet stopped, turned sharply, and looked at them with anger as if they had just insulted her. "How dare you talk to me?" Juliet shouted. "You poor boys, who sent you to greet me? Did I tell you I wanted your greeting? Do you know who I am?" The two men exchanged confused looks. "Juliet, it's just greeting," one said calmly. "Nothing harmful." But Juliet's pride stood taller than a mountain. "Shut up," she snapped. "The next time you see me, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't even breathe near me. I don't need your greeting." The two men were shocked. "Juliet, why are you angry?" the other asked. "We only greeted—" Before he finished, Juliet opened her mouth to insult them again, but her stomach twisted suddenly, like a rope being squeezed. She tried to hold it in. She failed. A powerful, loud, unbelievable fart blasted out of her like thunder in the afternoon sky. The sound bounced off the houses, birds flew away, even the dust paused. For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Then the two men exploded into laughter, not small laughter, big laughter. They were slapping their thighs, holding their stomachs, bending over, almost falling on the ground. "Juliet," one shouted between laughs, "is this your greeting for us?" "Oh my God," the other cried, laughing even harder. "So this is what rich people give as reply now?" Juliet stood there frozen, her face red like fire. She wanted the ground to swallow her. She felt tears burning her eyes. She didn't wait another second. She turned and ran home again, crying loudly as her sandals slapped the road. When she reached home, she didn't go to her father this time. She went straight to her mother's hut, ran inside, and fell on her mother's bed crying like a baby. Her mother sat up in shock. "Juliet, what is it again? Why are you crying like the world is ending?" Juliet wiped her face and said, "Mama, something happened. Something is following me." "What is following you?" her mother asked. Juliet took a deep breath and started explaining everything. What happened yesterday on the road, how she insulted the old woman, how she farted on her, how the woman warned her, how she vanished, how her father ignored it, and how today she farted again in front of two boys who laughed at her until she ran home. When she finished talking, her mother kept quiet for a moment. Then she shook her head slowly. Juliet, she said, I have told you many times to change this your dirty character. It will not lead you anywhere. You insult people too much. You talk as if others are beneath you. And your father is always siding you, spoiling you, telling you that you are right even when you are wrong. Now look at your predicament. Juliet's tears flowed faster. Mama, please help me. I don't want to be like this. Her mother raised her hand and said, Don't involve me in this mess. I warned you. I told you respect is important. But you refused to listen. I cannot save you from the consequences of your own pride. Juliet sniffed. Mama, please don't talk like that. Her mother stood up, wrapped her wrapper properly and said, Go and meet your father. He is always on your side. He is the one who keeps encouraging your bad behavior. Let him fix what he started. Juliet looked down, wiping her face gently. Her stomach rumbled again, warning her silently. Her mother added, If you want this thing to end, you better start respecting people. That old woman did not just talk for fun. Something is teaching you a lesson, and until you learn it, you will continue to suffer. Juliet cried softly. She wanted to argue, but she didn't trust her stomach. She remembered what happened on the road, and fear covered her heart. Juliet walked slowly toward the main compound where her father usually sat. She didn't want to go, but her mother's words kept ringing in her ears. Go and meet your father. He is always on your side. When she reached the compound, she saw her father sitting under the big mango tree with one of his close friends, Chief Adamu. Her father saw her first and smiled proudly. Ah, my beautiful daughter, come, come, come. Let my friend see the queen of this house. Juliet forced a smile, but her eyes were still red from crying. Chief Adamu looked at her carefully. He knew Juliet's reputation for pride, but he still greeted her kindly. My daughter, you look worried. What is the matter? Juliet opened her mouth to answer, but before she could speak, her stomach twisted again. She froze and held her breath, praying silently that nothing would happen. Her father noticed. Juliet, what is wrong? Why are you holding your stomach like that? Juliet shook her head gently and said, Papa, something is wrong with me. I came to tell you. Her stomach gave another painful twist. Juliet squeezed her legs together and tried to continue talking. Papa, the old woman, she... A loud, powerful fart exploded out of her like a talking drum in a festival. Her father gasped. Chief Adamu's mouth fell open. For a full second, nobody blinked. Then Chief Adamu whispered, My God. Her father whispered, Juliet. Juliet's face turned red instantly. She shook her head quickly. Papa, it's not me. It's not me. It's something following me. But before she could defend herself, another one escaped. Chief Adamu covered his nose and tried not to laugh, but a small laugh still escaped him. Her father looked confused, embarrassed, and shocked all at the same time. Juliet, he shouted in disbelief. Why? How? What is happening to you? Juliet waved her hands helplessly. Papa, I told you. Yesterday I insulted an old woman, and I farted on her. And she said I will learn a lesson, and then she vanished. Chief Adamu stood up immediately. Vanished? As in disappeared? Yes, Juliet cried. She disappeared, and now this thing keeps happening. Papa, help me. But right when she said help me, another loud one blasted out, longer than the others. Chief Adamu couldn't hold it anymore. He burst into loud laughter and slapped his knee. Ah, this is serious punishment. Even thunder is not this loud. Her father tried to stay serious, but his eyes were wide with embarrassment. He loved Juliet too much to laugh at her, but he also couldn't deny what he just heard. Juliet, her father said slowly, This is not normal. I know, Papa, Juliet shouted. That is why I'm scared. Chief Adamu stepped away to get fresh air. My friend, he said to Juliet's father, this is beyond ordinary. If she insulted the wrong person, then this is spiritual lesson. Juliet started crying again. Her tears fell straight to the ground. Papa, I told you, you didn't believe me yesterday. Her father swallowed hard. He didn't know what to say. Yesterday he had brushed it off, thinking it was nothing. But today, right in front of his friend, his precious daughter had embarrassed herself loudly. Too loudly to ignore. Juliet felt her cheeks burn. She couldn't stay there one more second. Her heart felt heavy with shame. Without another word, she turned and ran away again, covering her face as she cried. Chief Adamu watched her run and said softly, "My friend, this girl's pride is catching up with her. If she doesn't learn fast, this thing will disgrace her everywhere." Her father didn't argue. He only sighed deeply, finally realizing this problem was real. Meanwhile, Juliet ran inside her room and locked the door, pressing her back against it, breathing fast, shaking from shame. She whispered to herself, "I cannot live like this." That evening the whole compound was quiet, but Juliet's father could not rest. He walked up and down the sitting room, rubbing his head, thinking about everything that happened earlier. His pride was wounded, his heart was heavy, and for the first time he was truly afraid for his daughter. He finally gathered courage and went into the inner room, where his wife was sitting on the bed. She looked calm, but her eyes were sharp. She knew trouble was coming even before he spoke. "My wife," he began softly, "we need to find a solution for Juliet. This thing is serious. I saw it with my own eyes today. She cannot walk like this. People will laugh at her. Her life will be ruined. We need to help our daughter." His wife looked at him. "Help who?" she asked. "You and your precious spoiled daughter. Please don't involve me." Her husband frowned. "What do you mean, don't involve you? This is our daughter." She shook her head and stood up. "I told you long ago that Juliet talks too much. I told you she insults people anyhow. She behaves like she owns the whole world. What did you do? You pampered her. You defended her. You told her she is your angel. That one can talk to her anyhow. You said your money will cover her mistakes. Now look at where your over-pampering has brought her. The same mouth she used to insult people is now bringing shame to this family." Juliet's father opened his mouth to speak, but she continued with full anger. "You think I have forgotten how many times I complained? Every time someone in the village reported Juliet's rude behavior, I begged you to talk to her. But what did you say? Leave my daughter alone. She is perfect. Nobody should touch her. Now see the result. She insulted the wrong person." She paced the room, shaking her head. If Juliet had respected people, this would never have happened. But no, she behaves like she is queen of the whole world. And you, her father, encouraged it. You made her believe she is untouchable. Now she is crying all over the place, and you want me to fix it? Juliet's father's voice hardened. "She is our only child. How can you talk like this? You should stand with me. We should stand together." His wife folded her arms. "Stand together in what? In trouble that you created? My husband, let me tell you the truth. I warned you. I begged you. I told you to teach this girl kindness and respect. You refused. Now you want to drag me into the mess. No, I did not spoil her. You did." He stepped closer. "So you are washing your hands from this matter? Is that what a mother should do? What kind of woman are you? This is your child too." She raised her chin proudly. "I am a mother who warned you before this storm came. I am a mother who told you she was going too far. You refused to listen. So don't call me a bad mother because I won't pretend for you. You trained her with pride, now face the results." Juliet's father's hands began to shake slightly out of anger. "How can you talk like this when our daughter is suffering?" "She is suffering because she refused to listen to anyone," the mother replied sharply. "She insulted an old woman on the road. Who does that? Even small children know better." Juliet thought she was above correction. Now correction has found her. He paced the room, breathing heavily. "We have to do something. We cannot allow our daughter to be disgraced like this." His wife sat down firmly. "Then go and find the solution. You are the one who created the problem. You are the one she listens to. You are the one she runs to for support. Go and fix your daughter." Juliet's father stared at her in disbelief. "So you won't help?" She looked him straight in the eyes. "I will help when she drops her pride. Until then, go and use your 'my daughter can do no wrong' training to fix what is happening to her." Her words hit him like a heavy stone. He looked away, his chest rising and falling. He wanted to shout again, but he knew deep inside she was right. He spoiled Juliet. He encouraged her pride. He ignored the warnings. Now Juliet was suffering, and the whole burden was on him. Outside the room, Juliet sat quietly near the window, hugging her knees. She heard everything her parents said. Every word stabbed her heart. She never imagined she would be the cause of such a fight between her mother and father. She didn't know whether to cry more, run away, or hide forever. The next morning, Juliet's father woke up very early and went straight to look for a native doctor. He was desperate, embarrassed, and tired of the shame following his daughter. After asking around quietly, he finally found an old native doctor sitting outside a small mud shrine, grinding herbs. Juliet's father explained everything from beginning to end. The insults, the old woman, the vanishing, the loud farts, the shame, everything. The native doctor listened with a very serious face, nodding slowly like a wise man who had seen many strange things in life. When Juliet's father finished talking, the native doctor grunted softly and said, This matter is heavy. You see, when a child plays with fire, the fire does not pity the child. This girl has angered a spirit of respect. Juliet's father begged him, please, find a solution. She is suffering. The native doctor reached into a small calabash, brought out a brown, oily charm. Tell your daughter to rub this on her head before she sleeps tonight. By morning, the problem will disappear. But tell her, she must behave well. Juliet's father grabbed the charm with hope in his heart and rushed home. That night, Juliet rubbed the charm on her head the way she was instructed. She prayed silently that the nightmare would end. She slept, believing the next day would be her victory day. Morning came. Juliet woke up, dressed in her best clothes, and stepped outside proudly. She walked on the street like her usual self, swinging her shoulders, believing she was finally free. As she walked, she saw Amara, a quiet village girl who had always admired Juliet's beauty and confidence. Amara smiled politely and greeted her. Good morning, Juliet. Juliet stopped immediately, frowned deeply, and snapped. What is it? What is your problem? Poor people will not let somebody rest in this village. Amara was surprised, but still gentle. I'm sorry, Juliet. I only greeted you. I actually wanted to be your friend. Juliet burst into loud laughter. You? Be my friend? She pointed at Amara's clothes and mocked her. Look at you. You are too poor, too local, too dirty. You? My friend? How dare you? Don't you know who my father is? Amara's face dropped, and she whispered, I didn't mean to offend you. Please take it easy. Juliet became angry again. Take it easy. With who? You daughter of a palm wine tapper wants to roll with me. Never. I roll with big city girls, not village champions like you. Amara looked down, hurt. I'm sorry, Juliet hissed loudly. Sorry for yourself. Before Amara could move, Juliet raised her hand and slapped her hard on the cheek. Amara held her face, shocked, tears forming in her eyes. Juliet smirked proudly, ready to insult her again. Suddenly, Juliet's stomach twisted sharply. Her eyes widened in fear. Then another bomb. The farts came back stronger, louder and faster than before. Amara, who was just crying from the slap, suddenly burst into uncontrollable laughter. She laughed so loudly she almost fell on the ground. She wiped her tears and shouted, Juliet, so you slapped me with your hand and now your backside is slapping you back. She laughed even harder. This life is funny. Juliet's face turned bright red. She tried to run, but as she ran, the farts followed her like marching drums. People on the street started peeping from their doors. Juliet covered her face with both hands and sprinted home, farting all the way like a leaking motorcycle. She burst into the compound, crying, Papa, Papa, it has happened again. What kind of life is this? I cannot even walk in peace. Her father rushed to her. Calm down, Juliet. I will not calm down, Juliet shouted. That native doctor lied. Nothing happened. The thing is still following me. Without waiting, she marched straight back to the native doctor's shrine. She reached the shrine, entered without greeting, and shouted, You old fake man. Your charm did not work. You are useless. Fraud. The native doctor looked up slowly, his face hardened. Ah, so this is the girl. He shook his head. No wonder the spirits are flogging you like market thief. Your mouth is sharper than blade. Juliet stomped her foot angrily. Shut up. You told my father the charm will work. Nothing worked. Are you even a real native doctor? The native doctor stood up. Listen, girl, a proud person is like a cracked pot. You can pour blessings inside, but everything will leak out. Until you learn respect, your body will not stop disgracing you. Juliet pointed at him angrily. You are fake native doctor. You don't know anything. He didn't even get angry. He simply said, My child, you can insult me from now till night. It will not change your situation. Even husbands run from women with your character. Respect is like water. If you don't have it, you cannot quench anyone's thirst, not even your own. Juliet hissed loudly and stormed out, still fuming. All of you are useless. The native doctor watched her leave and shook his head slowly. The wind does not stop blowing because a tree refuses to bend. The news of Juliet's embarrassing problem spread around the village faster than Harmattan fire. People talked quietly at first, but by afternoon, gossip had become the main topic in every corner. Juliet did not know that her name was dancing from mouth to mouth. Two villagers, a young man and a young woman, stood near the market square discussing loudly. They didn't even hide their conversation. The man shook his head and said, My sister, can you imagine this disgrace that is following Juliet around? Ah, this thing is too much. To think I almost broke up with my girlfriend because of that girl. I was crushing on her, a whole me. The girl beside him opened her mouth wide. You? Crushing on Juliet? For what? The man sighed dramatically. I don't know what entered my head that time. Beauty nearly blinded me. But now, she wants to use fart to kill all of us in this village. Every corner she passes, pert, 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 like faulty generator. They both burst into laughter. The girl wiped her eyes and said, My brother, leave that matter. Do you know I was even praying to be like her before? I wanted her beauty, her confidence, her clothes, everything. I used to admire how she walked, as if the whole world belonged to her. The man nodded. Yes now. She used to behave like Princess of Africa. The girl leaned closer and lowered her voice a little. But let me tell you something. That girl is wicked. One day I begged her to teach me makeup, just simple makeup, so I could look fine for my birthday. She insulted me. Not only me, she insulted my late parents too that day. The man gasped loudly. Jesu, she insulted your late parents? Yes, the girl said, anger rising again. She said my parents were poor and wondered how poor people's children always want to look like big girls. I cried that day. I told myself I would never talk to her again. No wonder, the man said. Now see her life. All that pride has turned to disgrace. The girl nodded with satisfaction. Serves her right. Who will marry her now? Which man in this village will even look at her twice? Before Enko. She thinks she is above everybody. Now even small boys will fear to greet her, before she will fart their soul out. They both burst into laughter again, louder than before. The man shook his head slowly. Life is funny. Somebody who behaved like goddess is now the village trumpet. Whenever you hear just know Juliet is passing. The girl added, her beauty has turned to wasted furniture. No man will come near her unless he wants to lose his nose. Her character has finished her future. They continued laughing, completely unaware that Juliet was standing not far behind them, hidden by a mango tree. She had gone out quietly to fetch water, hoping nobody would see her. But instead, she heard every single word, every insult, every memory, every painful truth. Her heart cracked slowly, tears gathered in her eyes. She covered her mouth so they wouldn't hear her crying, their words stabbed deep, deeper than any slap or punishment. She had believed she was perfect, untouchable, adored. But now she was nothing more than a joke. Juliet turned around quietly and walked back home, her eyes burning, her stomach tight from fear and shame. She whispered to herself, is this truly my life now? But she didn't know. The lesson was still far from finished. While Juliet hid inside the house crying, something unexpected was happening on the other side of the village. A young man named Mark, who lived in the city, had just arrived. He was tall, handsome, well-dressed, and known for having a good heart. He came straight to his mother's compound with one purpose in mind. Mama, he said confidently as soon as he entered, I have come home for something important. His mother looked at him suspiciously. Important like what? Did you lose your job? Did someone chase you from the city? Mark shook his head. No, Mama, I came because I want to marry Juliet. His mother shouted, "Marry who?" "Juliet," Mark repeated calmly. "Chief's daughter." His mother placed her hands on her head. "God forbid bad thing. Mark, don't joke with me. That girl, that same Juliet. No, never." Mark laughed a little. "Mama, why are you shouting? What is wrong with Juliet? She is beautiful, classy, neat. When I came home a few months ago, she greeted me. We spoke for small time. I think I like her." His mother hissed so loudly that even the chickens ran. "Like who?" "That one. That girl is cursed." Mark blinked, surprised. "Cursed, ka? Mama, how?" His mother whispered loudly, "She farts everywhere she goes." Mark burst into laughter immediately. "Mama, everybody farts. You fart, I fart, even the goat outside farts. It is normal. Are you telling me that fart is curse?" His mother slapped his arm lightly. "Keep quiet. This one is different. This is not normal fart. This one is loud, it is angry, it is dangerous, and it is embarrassing." Mark laughed even harder. "Mama, so what? Maybe the girl ate beans. Maybe she has stomach problem. Maybe she needs medicine." His mother shook her head. "You think this is beans matter? My friend told me she saw Juliet walking on the road. Every 3 steps, she fart. People were laughing. Children were running. Dogs were barking. Even the wind was confused." Mark tried to hold back his laughter but failed. "Mama, please, stop. You will kill me with laughter." But his mother was serious. "Mark, listen to me. That girl's wahala is not ordinary. She insulted the wrong old woman, and now something is following her. I heard she even ran home farting like motorcycle. You want to marry that kind of girl? You want to bring her to the city? Do you want your neighbors to run away from your house?" Mark shook his head. "Mama, you don't understand. I like her. Fart or no fart, she is still beautiful. And what if it is medical? What if she is sick? I can take her to the hospital in the city. Doctors can check her, we can fix it." His mother stared at him like he was mad. "Fix what?" "Mark, this thing is not ordinary gas. Even doctors will run away from her if she starts." Mark folded his arms. "Mama, everybody deserves love. I cannot judge her because of small embarrassment. Besides, maybe she needs someone to care for her, someone to talk to her, someone to help her change." His mother paced the room angrily. "Mark, you want to carry problem on your head. Why can't you choose a normal girl? Why Juliet? That girl is rude, proud, arrogant. She insulted half of this village. She looks down on people. She thinks she is queen of beauty." Mark nodded slowly. "Mama, I know. But maybe that is why she needs someone calm, someone patient, someone like me. People can change, Mama." His mother raised her hands dramatically. "I don't want. I reject. I refuse. I cannot have a daughter-in-law whose backside talks before her mouth." Mark sighed deeply. "Mama, whether you agree or not, I will marry Juliet. I will talk to her. I will take her to the city. I will help her. Maybe God sent me." His mother dropped her hands in defeat and whispered, "God, why me?" Mark smiled gently. "Mama, don't worry. You will like her when you see the calm side of her. I believe she just needs help." His mother shakes her head. "Mark, I have lived long enough in this village to know that when a girl's pride meets spiritual lesson, only humility can save her. Not charm, not medicine, not marriage." Mark touched her shoulder softly. "Mama, love will save her." She sighed heavily. My son, may God go with you, because you will need him." The next morning, Mark woke up early, dressed neatly, and walked straight to Juliet's compound. He walked with confidence, believing he was doing the right thing. He found Juliet's father sitting outside. "Good morning, Chief," Mark greeted with a respectful bow. Juliet's father looked up and smiled. "Ah, Mark, welcome. What brings you home again so soon? You hardly visit." Mark cleared his throat. "Chief, I came to talk about Juliet." Juliet's father raised his eyebrows. "Juliet? What about her?" Mark swallowed. "Sir, I want to marry her." Juliet's father was shocked. "Marry who?" "Juliet," Mark repeated gently. "Your daughter." The chief blinked hard. "Mark, are you sure? Have you heard what is happening to her?" Mark nodded. "I know everything, sir." The chief sighed. And you still want to marry her? Yes, sir, Mark said confidently. I don't care about the problem. Everybody farts. Juliet is still human. She needs help, not shame. Juliet's father sighed deeply. Mark, you don't understand. This thing is embarrassing. People laugh at her everywhere she passes. That is why I want to take her to the city, Mark replied. I want to get her medical help. Maybe a doctor can fix it. Juliet's father looked at him for a long moment. Then he called out, Juliet! Juliet, come out here. Inside the room, Juliet froze. She heard Mark's voice earlier, but thought she was dreaming. Her heart started beating fast. She stepped outside slowly, praying her stomach would behave. The moment she saw Mark standing there, she gasped quietly. Why was he here? Why now? Mark smiled warmly. Good morning, Juliet. Juliet looked down shyly, something she had never done in her life. Good morning. Her father stood up proudly. Juliet, Mark says he wants to marry you. Juliet's mouth fell open. Marry me? In this my condition? Mark nodded. Yes, I don't care what people say. Juliet's father placed a hand on her shoulder. My daughter, maybe this is God's mercy. Maybe he is your blessing. For the first time in days, Juliet felt hope enter her heart. She smiled a little, looked at Mark and whispered, Thank you. But before she could say more, her stomach tightened. She froze. Her eyes widened. A loud fart shot out of her. She squeezed her legs quickly, trying to hold the next one in, but it was too late. Her father covered his face with his palm. Juliet jumped back in shame. No, not now, please. But Mark smiled gently, unfazed. Juliet, relax. I said I don't care. Juliet shook her head in disbelief. But you heard. Everybody farts, Mark said calmly. You're just a little louder than others. Juliet's father started laughing despite himself. Mark, a little louder. You are too kind. Juliet felt like crying and laughing at the same time. She looked at Mark again. He wasn't disgusted. He wasn't angry. He wasn't laughing at her. He was still smiling, the same calm smile he had from the beginning. He reached out his hand. Juliet, come with me to the city. Let's see a doctor. Let's start fresh. Let's fix this together. Juliet hesitated, then slowly placed her hand in his. Are you sure? I am sure, Mark said. Your past does not scare me. Your mistake does not scare me. Your fart does not scare me. Juliet's father burst into another fit of laughter. Mark, this boy is brave, oh. Juliet, go with him. Let him help you. Maybe you will learn humility. Maybe you will change. Juliet looked at her father gratefully. Thank you, Papa. With her small bag packed and tears of mixed shame and relief in her eyes, Juliet followed Mark out of the compound. She held her stomach tight, praying nothing would escape as they walked. Mark opened the car door for her. She climbed in. He entered the driver's side. He smiled. Ready? She nodded. Yes. As the car moved, Juliet whispered, Thank you for not giving up on me. Mark responded softly, Everybody deserves a second chance. And just like that, Juliet left the village with the one man who didn't laugh at her shame. Her journey in the city had begun. When Mark and Juliet arrived in the city, he wanted to make her feel welcome. He wanted her to forget the shame from the village, so the first place he took her was a beautiful restaurant. Clean tables, nice music, people dressed in fine clothes. Juliet sat down nervously. She felt out of place, but Mark held her hand and said, Relax, you're safe with me. She nodded and tried her best to act calm. A waiter approached with a smile, ready to take their order. Juliet lifted her menu, and right at that moment her stomach rumbled like a waking lion. She froze. Mark's eyes widened. Before she could hold it, a loud, echoing fart shook the quiet restaurant. Juliet covered her face with both hands. Oh no, not here, not again. Mark forced a small smile. It's okay. It's okay. But then another one escaped. A woman at the next table gasped and grabbed her nose. Someone else whispered loudly, Who brought generator inside restaurant? Mark stood up quickly. Juliet, let's go. They rushed outside, their faces burning with embarrassment. Juliet's eyes filled with tears. Mark, I am tired. This shame is too much. Mark took a deep breath. We will see a doctor. We must find the cause. They drove straight to the hospital. After many tests, the doctor returned with Juliet's file. He looked confused. "Mr. Mark, Juliet, medically she is fine. There is nothing wrong with her stomach. No infection, no digestive problem, no illness." Juliet stared at him in disbelief. "Doctor, are you sure? Nothing?" "Nothing," the doctor repeated. "Her body is healthy. Whatever is happening is not medical." Mark's face fell. Juliet looked away angrily. They left the hospital heavy-hearted. When they got home, Mark sat quietly on the couch. His smile was gone. For the first time, Juliet saw tiredness and sadness in his eyes. "Mark," she whispered, "are you angry with me?" Mark sighed. "I am not angry with you. I am angry because I don't know how to help you." Juliet sat beside him, feeling her heart sink. She muttered bitterly, "That old woman that did this to me. She is useless. Why would she punish me like this?" Mark didn't respond. He stood up, walked into the room, and closed the door gently. Juliet sat alone, feeling abandoned, confused, and scared. The next morning, Juliet woke up with anger in her chest. She remembered what happened at the restaurant. She remembered the doctor's words. She remembered Mark's sad face. And she felt frustrated with life. She stepped outside the house and saw the security man standing by the gate. He smiled politely and said, "Good morning, madam." Juliet, angry at the world, snapped at him. "What is good about the morning? Are you stupid? Don't greet me like that." The security man's smile disappeared. He blinked in shock. "Ah, madam, I did not do anything." "Shut up," Juliet shouted. "Go and open the gate for me, and don't talk to me again." Before she could insult him more, her stomach twisted sharply. She froze. She grabbed the gate for support. The security man stepped back. The fart echoed loudly in the compound. The security man covered his mouth, trying to hold it in. But he failed. He burst into laughter, loud, uncontrollable laughter. "I'm sorry, madam. I'm sorry," he said while laughing. I did not mean to laugh, but I can't hold it." Juliet's face turned red instantly. She ran inside the house, slamming the door behind her. Shame washed over her like cold water. A few minutes later, the maid walked outside. She saw the security man still laughing and asked, "What is funny? Why are you laughing like goat?" He pointed toward the door. "Madam, she—" He tried to explain but burst into fresh laughter. The maid's eyes widened. "Did she fart again?" The security man nodded fast. "Yes, and the thing was loud. My ear is still shaking." The maid laughed so hard tears came out. "Ah, this madam will kill us with fart one day." They both laughed together like two children watching comedy. Inside the house, Juliet sat on the floor, crying into her palms. Her shame had followed her from the village to the city. No charm healed her, no doctor could fix her. And the more she fought it, the worse it became. She whispered, trembling, "I cannot continue like this. I need help." But how? She didn't know that the real solution was not in charms, not in doctors, not in anger. It was still waiting for her. A few days later, Mark decided to cheer Juliet up. She had been hiding in the house like a prisoner. He wanted her to feel normal again, even if just for a few minutes. So he came home excited and said, "Juliet, dress up. We are going to a small party." Juliet's eyes widened immediately. "Party?" "Mark, please no. I don't want trouble. I don't want to embarrass myself again." Mark smiled gently. "You are too beautiful to stay indoors. I want my friends to meet you. I want them to know the woman I brought from the village." Juliet shook her head. "Mark, please, I am scared." But Mark insisted, "I promise to help you. I cannot hide you from the world. Let's go. Nothing will happen." Juliet finally agreed, though her heart was beating like talking drum. They arrived at the party, a small gathering of Mark's close friends, in a comfortable apartment. Everyone was smiling, laughing, dancing gently. Mark introduced Juliet proudly. "Everyone, this is Juliet, the lady I told you about." His friends greeted her warmly. Juliet managed to smile, even though her palms were sweating. Mark held her waist gently and whispered, "Relax. You're safe." For a moment, everything was fine. Mark was talking with his friends. Juliet was standing beside him, trying to blend in. They cracked jokes, laughed, and enjoyed the soft music. Then it happened. Juliet's stomach rumbled, a deep, heavy rumble, the kind that warned her that trouble was close. Her eyes widened. She whispered, "Mark, Mark, we need to go." Before he could respond, boom! The fart exploded like a bomb inside the apartment. Everyone froze. Juliet covered her mouth in horror. Mark's face turned pale. The whole room was silent.
Dear some passengers, you carry once.
Is too much. To think I almost broke up with my girlfriend because who lived in the city had just arrived. He was tall, handsome. Even the wind was Check her, we can fix it. His mother stared at him like he was mad. Fix what? Mark, this thing is not ordinary gas. Even doctors will run away from her if she starts. Mark folded his arms. I did not do any hiding in the house. Juliet's stomach rumbled, a deep, heavy rumble, the kind that warned her that trouble was close. Her eyes widened. She whispered, "Mark, Mark, we need to go." Before he could respond, boom! The fart exploded like a bomb inside the apartment. Everyone froze. Juliet covered her mouth in horror. Mark's face turned pale. The whole room was silent. Then someone gasped loudly, "What in God's name was that?" Juliet ran out of the party crying, and Mark ran after her. Everyone inside the apartment stood still like statues, shocked and confused. When they got home, Mark shut the door loudly behind them. His face had changed. No smile, no patience, no calmness. His frustration finally broke through. He shouted, "Juliet, I am tired. I am really tired." Juliet stepped back, shocked. "Mark, please." "I thought I could handle this," Mark said, pacing angrily. "I thought I could manage everything. But now, I don't know again. You embarrassed me in front of my friends. I brought you to the city, and now everywhere we go is war." Juliet's tears fell immediately. "This is why I didn't want to go. I told you not to take me out. Now see." Mark turned sharply. "Juliet, you that fart anywhere and anyhow. Are you not tired?" "Madam, please, I don't have strength for this again," Juliet sobbed. "I didn't ask you to bring me here. You said you could handle it." "I thought I could," Mark shouted, "but you are proving me wrong every single day." Juliet covered her face, crying, "Mark, don't do this. Don't leave me like this. I am already ashamed of myself." Mark grabbed his keys angrily. "I need space. Let me go out and breathe fresh air. This house has suffered enough." As he walked toward the door, two sharp farts shot out of Juliet. Mark stopped, turned slowly and said, "You see? You see what I'm talking about? This thing does not even respect argument." Juliet cried harder. "Mark, please don't leave." He shook his head. "Juliet, I am tired. I don't know how to help you anymore." He opened the door to step out. Juliet whispered, "Mark, please don't give up on me." Mark paused for a moment. His hand froze on the handle. He didn't turn around, but his voice softened just a little. "I'm not giving up," he said quietly. "But I need to think. And you need to calm down and ask yourself why this thing is still happening." He closed the door gently behind him and walked out into the night. Juliet fell to her knees in the living room, crying uncontrollably. Her whole world was breaking piece by piece, and for the first time ever, she whispered the truth to herself. "I cannot continue like this. I must change. I must change." The next morning, Juliet woke up with a quiet heart. She had cried enough. She had suffered enough. Now she wanted to try something new. Kindness. She went into the kitchen early, cooked a simple meal, and packed it neatly in a food flask. Then she stepped outside slowly. The security man was standing by the gate, stretching his arms. The moment he saw Juliet, he froze like a goat seeing headlights. Good morning, madam," he said, already holding his breath, expecting trouble. Juliet walked toward him gently. This time, no anger, no pride, no shouting. "Good morning," she said softly. "I brought you food." The security man's eyes doubled in size. "Food? For me?" "Yes," Juliet replied with a small smile. For you. Please take it. He took the flask slowly, almost shaking. Madam, are you sure? Is everything all right? Juliet nodded. Yes, everything is fine. I'm sorry for how I spoke to you the other day. I was angry, but I shouldn't have shouted at you. The security man blinked fast. Ah, Madam Juliet apologized? Hey God, wonders shall never end. Juliet laughed quietly. It's okay, and thank you for not reporting me to Mark. The man shook his head. No, oh, Madam, I would never. You are my madam. Juliet smiled again. If you need anything, just let me know. The man bowed slightly. Thank you, madam. God bless you. Juliet turned back into the house, feeling lighter, like each apology was removing a stone from her heart. That evening Mark returned home. He stepped inside slowly, expecting Juliet to be angry or distant. But she walked to him calmly with water and food. Mark, welcome, she said softly. Mark looked at her carefully. Something was different. Her eyes were softer, her voice quieter, her body relaxed. Juliet continued, I want to buy some things tomorrow, food items, clothes, and give them to homeless people on the street. Mark froze. His mouth opened slightly. He looked at Juliet like he was seeing a stranger. You, he whispered. Juliet, you want to give to homeless people? She nodded. Yes. I want to do something good. I want to help people. Mark's face softened. He had never seen Juliet like this before. No pride, no insults, no anger. Okay, he said, smiling gently. Juliet smiled back shyly. Thank you, Mark. The next morning, Juliet dressed simply and went out to buy food supplies. She walked down the road quietly, minding her business. She wasn't walking majestically like before. She wasn't swinging her hips like a queen. She was calm. On the way, she saw an old woman sitting by the road, holding her wrapper tightly. The woman raised her hand gently. My daughter, please help me with something to eat. Normally, Juliet would roll her eyes, hiss, insult, or even ignore. But today she stopped. She opened her bag, removed some money, and placed it softly into the old woman's hand. Here, Mama, Juliet said respectfully. Please take this. The old woman looked at her with bright, thankful eyes. Thank you, my daughter. God bless you. May you never lack. Juliet smiled kindly. Amen, Mama. She turned to continue walking, but after 3 steps she remembered the pain she caused the first old woman in her village. She turned back. The old woman was gone. Completely gone. Juliet stared at the empty spot, her heart beating suddenly fast. She whispered, This is exactly what happened before. But this time, instead of fear, she felt peace. She felt something changing inside her. Later that day, Mark and Juliet went out with big bags filled with food, water, clothes, and fruits. They walked through the city streets where homeless people usually stayed. Juliet felt shy at first, but when she saw their tired faces and hungry eyes, her heart softened. She bent down and gave food to an old man sitting under a bridge. Thank you, my daughter, he said, smiling weakly. Mark watched everything with a quiet smile. He had never seen Juliet so gentle, so soft, so humble. She wasn't acting, her heart was truly changing. After they finished giving out everything, Juliet felt something she had not felt in a long time. Peace. She wasn't thinking about her looks, her pride, or her shame. She just felt human. Mark held her hand as they walked back home. You did well today, he said softly. Juliet smiled. Thank you for supporting me. They got home tired but happy. That night Juliet went to bed early. She slept deeply, peacefully. But around midnight, a soft light filled her room. Juliet opened her eyes slowly. Standing at the foot of her bed was the old woman. The same old woman she insulted in the village. The same old woman she farted on. The same old woman who cursed her. Juliet sat up quickly, her heart racing. Mama, please. I'm sorry. I am truly sorry. The old woman smiled this time, warm, gentle, kind. My daughter, she said in a soft voice, you have changed. Juliet's eyes filled with tears instantly. The old woman continued, you now speak with respect. You now show kindness. You now help those you once insulted. This is the real Juliet. This is the heart I wanted you to find. Juliet bowed her head. I am truly sorry for everything I did to you. I was proud. I was rude. I was blind. The old woman nodded slowly. But now you see. And because you have changed, because your heart is clean now, your sins are forgiven. Juliet covered her mouth, crying silently. The old woman sighed. A child who learns is better than a child who pretends. From today, you will never fart in public again. A warm breeze moved through the room. The old woman smiled. Remain humble, remain kind, and your life will blossom. Then slowly, she disappeared. Juliet woke up with tears on her cheeks. She jumped out of bed and dropped to her knees, praying loudly, God, thank you. Thank you for forgiveness. Thank you for mercy. I will never insult anyone again. I will remain humble forever. She prayed with all her heart, crying and smiling at the same time. The next morning, Mark came out of the room, rubbing his eyes. Juliet ran to him immediately. Mark, Mark, she said, breathing fast. The old woman came to me last night. Mark blinked. Old woman? Which old woman? The one from the village, Juliet said, shaking with excitement. She appeared in my room. She said I have changed. She said my sins are forgiven. She said I will never fart in public again. Mark stared at her slowly. Juliet, are you sure? Juliet nodded with tears in her eyes. Yes. I saw her clearly. She blessed me. Mark, I am free. Mark held her hands gently. Juliet, I'm proud of you. She smiled back, wiping her tears. Thank you for not giving up on me. Mark hugged her softly, his heart full. Juliet whispered, This time, I will never go back to who I used to be. And just like that, her new life truly began. From that day on, Juliet became a completely new person. No more shouting, no more pride, no more insults, and most importantly, no more embarrassing farts. She walked with peace instead of pride. She spoke with kindness instead of anger. She helped people instead of mocking them. Mark saw it all. He watched Juliet transform from a proud, rude girl into a humble, caring woman with a soft heart. He fell in love with her even more. One evening, Mark took Juliet to a small garden near the city river. The lights were soft, the breeze was calm, and the stars were bright. Mark held her hands and looked into her eyes. Juliet, he said gently, I have watched you change. I have seen you grow. You lost your pride and found your heart. I thank God for bringing you into my life. Juliet smiled with tears in her eyes. Thank you for believing in me when nobody else did. Mark knelt down on one knee. Juliet gasped softly, covering her mouth. Juliet, he said, will you marry me? Her hands trembled, her eyes filled with tears, and her heart exploded with joy. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will marry you. Mark stood, hugged her tightly, and lifted her off the ground. Juliet laughed brightly, a sound she had not made in a long time. Their wedding day finally came. Then Juliet walked in. She was glowing in her beautiful white wedding gown. Her smile was calm, her steps were gentle. For the first time in her life, she walked with true confidence, not pride, but peace. Mark stood waiting for her at the altar, looking at her like she was the only woman in the world. When Juliet reached him, he whispered, You look perfect. She smiled. I feel perfect. The pastor joined their hands. They made their vows. They exchanged rings. And when the pastor said, You may now kiss the bride, the whole church cheered loudly. Mark kissed Juliet softly, and the crowd clapped with joy. Juliet's father wiped tears. Her mother smiled proudly. Everyone celebrated with dancing, food, and laughter. Juliet looked around the room and whispered to herself, I made mistakes, but I changed, and now God has blessed me. Mark held her hand tightly all evening, smiling at the woman she had become. And from that day forward, Juliet lived a peaceful, respectful, and happy life, married to the man who saw past her shame and helped her find her true heart.
She was the most beautiful girl in the village, but her beauty became her curse. One night of pleasure turned her world into pain, and what she lost could never be replaced. This is the story of Chisholm. The girl whose beauty brought her to the edge of destruction. In the small, quiet village of Umokoro, there lived a girl whose beauty made even married men forget their vows. Her name was Chisholm, and people often whispered that she was born from the moon itself, too beautiful for a poor girl. Her skin glowed like ripe palm fruit in the sun, and her smile could make even the angriest man weak. But behind that beauty was a life that many pitied, and many others feared. Chisholm's parents were poor farmers. Her father, Papa Chaik, was old and tired, and her mother, Mama Chaik, sold firewood just to feed them. Every morning, while other girls went to the stream or farm, Chisholm would sit by the roadside, rubbing coconut oil on her skin and singing softly. "Chisholm, come and help me at the farm," her mother would plead. "Mama, farming is for people without dreams," she'd reply, twisting her waist proudly. "Do you want me to spoil this my fine skin under the sun?" Her mother would sigh and walk away. But deep down, her heart broke a little more every day. At night, when the moon was bright, Chisholm would sneak out of the hut. She would wear her mother's wrapper, tie it tightly around her waist, and walk barefoot to the houses of men who couldn't resist her. Some were young hunters, others were married men, and a few were rich traders who came from the nearby town. They all promised her things: money, jewelry, new clothes, and she gave them what they wanted in return. Soon, everyone in the village knew her name. Some called her the curse of Umokoro. Others called her the beauty that destroys homes. Still, Chisholm didn't care. She liked the attention, she liked the feeling of power, how men's voices trembled when she smiled, how women looked at her with hate and fear, but trouble was already waiting for her. One night, Chisholm sneaked into the compound of Chief Odenigbo, the richest man in Umokoro. He was old, powerful, and dangerous. His wife had died years ago, and people said his compound was cursed. That no woman ever entered and came out the same, yet Chisholm, driven by greed and curiosity, went anyway. When she entered, the air was cold and heavy. The moon disappeared behind the clouds. Chief Odenigbo smiled when he saw her, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. "Oh, Chisholm, the flower of Umokoro," he said softly. "Do you know what happens to flowers that open for every hand?" Chisholm laughed nervously. "Chief, stop joking. I came to make you happy." But Chief Odenigbo's eyes turned dark. "No," he said slowly. "You came to make a mistake." She was the most beautiful girl in the village, but her beauty became her curse. One night of pleasure turned her world into pain.
Cynthia was just a 23-year-old girl. She was very beautiful. Smooth skin, bright eyes, sweet smile. But Cynthia had one problem. Her body was straight. No curves, no big backside. In her group of friends, she was the only one like that. All her friends had curved shapes and big bum bum. When they dressed up to go out, people stared at them. Boys praised them, girls admired them. Cynthia always stood quietly at the side. At first, she didn't mind, but people's mouths are powerful weapons. One afternoon, as they were getting ready for a party, one of the girls laughed. "Cynthia, where is your bum bum?" Another shouted, "Nyashle Cindy." They all laughed. Another added, "Amoeba Cindy, straight like stick." They laughed louder. Cynthia forced a smile, but inside her heart, something broke. That night, she cried alone. She looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Am I not beautiful?" From that day, her peace left her. Cynthia started searching online how to get curves fast, how to get big boom boom in 2 weeks. She met a woman in the market who sold boom boom cream. The woman said, "Use it morning and night. In 2 weeks, you will change." Cynthia paid with her savings. Every day she applied the cream. She waited. 1 week passed. 2 weeks passed. Nothing changed, not even small. Her friends laughed again. Ha ha ha. "Cynthia, your cream failed you. Amoeba still remains amoeba. You are forever Nyashless Cindy." Her friends laughed more. Ha ha ha. That was when frustration turned into desperation. One night, Cynthia met a girl in a club. The girl whispered, "There's a doctor. Cheap, fast results." Cynthia asked, "Is it safe?" The girl smiled. "I did mine there." Cynthia did not ask questions. She did not tell her family. She followed the address. Cynthia was just a 23-year-old girl. She was very beautiful, smooth skin.
There are some passengers you carry once, and they do not come down.
Peter did not know this. He only knows anger.
Madam, enter.
No, Oga.
Why not? Enter Jor.
Oga, you carry person for your bike already now.
Which person?
It all started the day Peter carried a girl who paid before the journey.
Where you dey go?
I dey go 5-star hotel.
Na 500 naira oh. Oya, enter.
When they arrived, Peter's anger spoke faster than his memory.
Madam, my money.
I paid you.
You never pay me anything.
Sir, I beg leave my
I
clothes.
go show you shege if you don't give me my money today. Nonsense. Oga, calm down, huh?
Babe, I've just give am the money make it go to avoid wahala. I don't pay you before and you say I never pay you. Make this 500 naira be the last money you go ever see for your life, and you no go ever know peace.
I beg, give me the money. Ashawo.
Peter did not take her word seriously. He mounted his bike and went back to work.
Where you dey go? Oga, you won't carry another person when somebody dey your bike already. But I know they see anybody now.
Peter tried carrying somebody else.
Madam, enter.
No, Oga.
Why not? Enter Jor.
Oga, you carry person for your bike already now.
Which person?
Peter could not see what they are seeing, but whatever entered his bike that morning did not come down. After the long day, Peter went back home, confused, tired, and afraid.
So now only this 500 naira I make today. Which kind work be this? And wetin be that thing where people they talk say them see for my bike? Bike where they ride alone. God abeg oh.
Peter tried to ignore it. He told himself it was stress or imagination.
Make her sleep small.
But when night comes, the spirits do not sleep.
Grace me for road. You collect my money twice.
Jesus!
You get mine, call me Ashawo?
Hey!
This is just the beginning.
Jesus! Jesus.
Peter thought that it was just a dream.
Na dream.
Did not know he had offended the spirits. There are some passengers you carry once, and they do not come down.
Peter did not know this. He only knows anger.
Madam, enter.
No, Oga.
Why not? Enter Joe.
Every time they say you are beautiful, am I ugly? How dare you try to become the village beauty?
Grab your popcorn. Let me tell you how the story began. Once upon a time, in a small village called Ami, everyone knew the family of Mr. and Mrs. Adeyemi. They were respected people, blessed with 2 daughters. The first daughter was Fola, tall, fair, and very beautiful. Her voice was soft like early morning bird song. Whenever she sang, people stopped to listen. Men admired her, women praised her, and elders always used her as an example of beauty and grace. The second daughter was Sia, younger and quieter. As a child, Sia had been playful and pretty too, but fate changed her life forever. One afternoon, when she was still very small, a terrible accident happened in their kitchen. Hot oil poured on her face, leaving deep scars that never healed properly. From that day, people no longer looked at Sia with admiration. Instead, they looked away or stared with pity. As the girls grew older, the difference between them became very clear. Fola became more confident, but that confidence slowly turned into pride. Everywhere she went, people reminded her how beautiful she was. Men brought gifts, clothes, jewelry, and food just to see her smile. Fola enjoyed the attention too much. She began to believe that beauty was everything. Sia, on the other hand, became invisible in her own home. Visitors came and her parents would quickly tell her, "Sia, go inside." When guests stayed for long, she stayed hidden. Sometimes she listened from behind the door as people praised Fola and pretended Sia did not exist. Each time, her heart broke a little more. Even though they were sisters, Fola stopped walking with Sia. If Sia tried to follow her outside, Fola would hiss at her and say, "Stay back, don't embarrass me." Sia understood why, and it hurt deeply. She cried many nights, pressing her face into her pillow so no one would hear her sobs. Many times she begged God because she felt unwanted and ashamed of her own reflection. At home, Sia worked like a servant. She fetched water, went to the market, gathered firewood, and ran errands from morning till night. Her parents hardly sent Fola anywhere. "She's too delicate," they would say. Sia accepted her life quietly. With time, she learned how to be alone without complaining. One early morning, Sia was sent to fetch water from the village stream. The sun was just rising and the road was calm. On her way back, she saw an old woman sitting by the roadside. The woman looked weak and tired, with a big pot of water beside her. Sia greeted her politely and walked past. But after a few steps, her heart would not allow her to continue. She turned back. "Mama, let me help you," Sia said gently. The old woman looked at her with surprise and gratitude. Sia hid her own bucket of water behind a tree and lifted the woman's heavy pot onto her head. The woman thanked her again and asked her to follow her home. They walked slowly, deeper into the forest,